So I'm going to tell you the ages that typically come up in therapy: 6, 8, 12, and 14. These are the ages. And it goes like this. It goes like this. Have a couple sitting there on the couch and they're arguing, or one is trying to explain the self, like, this is what my experience is. And I'll say, how old do you feel right now? And almost immediately it's like 8, 12. Like, they're like, that's weird. I was like, it's not. It's not weird. I hear it all the time. Why does that come up? Because it's in our bodies when we got in trouble for something, we got reprimanded for something, we had an experience where we learned that something is not right.
Welcome to Simply 1%, where we believe that small shifts, just 1% shifts, create transformation. Big change doesn't usually happen in one big dramatic moment. It happens in the small intentional adjustments we make over time. Here we approach growth with grace for ourselves and grace for others. Meredith Richards is a licensed marriage and family therapist and communication coach. And I'm Gwendolyn Pascal, a life developmental coach and a mentor and teacher of the motivational gifts. If what you hear resonates with you, we would love your support. Follow the show, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs a 1% shift today. All right, let's get into this, simply 1% at a time.
Hi guys, welcome back to Simply 1%. Last week we talked about non-negotiables, how to know whether that's wisdom, self-protection, fear, avoidance, or something that still needs healing. Basically, the purpose of non-negotiables, how we arrive at them, and how we use them in our daily lives. So that's where we're heading today.
Yeah, not everything that makes us uncomfortable is a non-negotiable, right? Mm-hmm. But not everything we push through is growth either. No, there's that.
No. Yeah, there is that. The easiest way to say this is just that a true non-negotiable is something that protects your well-being. We talked many times about values and priorities and how to arrive at those. And that is your foundational, that's your cornerstone. And from there, we make these other decisions of non-negotiables, who's at our table, what we're handling, what we're not going to handle. Our words come out of our values and priorities, right? So we've talked about a lot of these things, and this is just like a natural progression from what we've been discussing in our podcast throughout the time. And so a true non-negotiable protects your well-being, comes from your values and priorities. A fear will protect your discomfort. So what we really want you to get out of it today is am I protecting a fear, or am I protecting my well-being? And maybe it's both sometimes, and you can be in the middle of it. I mean, that's the whole point of this, right? You're figuring it out as you go along. And it's always going to change. Typically, it will change. If you are continuing to want to grow, right, you are going to have different reactions to the same situations. Because the more you learn what's important to you and grow in self-awareness, you will seem different to the world around you. Your personality is not necessarily different. The way you were born, that's not different. Don't change that. What you're doing is you're kind of renegotiating how you react and respond to the world. That's what non-negotiables are and how we arrive there. So how would I do, Gwendolyn? Do you think
you did great? And did you guys hear her? She said, yeah, you can be in the middle. You can be in the middle. Okay. I just want to take a moment and say, guys, if you're looking for a podcast to tell you what to do, you might as well keep on going, because that's not what we do here. We don't, right? No. We just hope to be some guides and maybe show you some perspectives. That is not what we do. There are so many podcasts that are like, 3 ways to not get angry in traffic. Look, you're going to get angry. Let's have some grace and let's try to move through this together, because we all screw up. This podcast is not about to tell you what to do. We're just kind of living life and rocking life with
Mhm.
you as a coach and a therapist, right?
Hey, yeah, well, that's the whole point of this. You're right. You're right. Great reminder for everyone because you are the expert on your life. You are. You know what it's like to be activated from a scenario that no one else would even think twice about. You know what it's like. You know what it was like in the home growing up. You know what it's really like in your body to experience your favorite thing. When the Knicks win the game, you know what that's like.
Last night, I know what it's
Mm,
like. Smack, smack. I'm so
uh.
happy. That was a comeback.
That
That was
was
a Are you kidding?
amazing.
Oh
Amazing.
my God. I got goosebumps. Oh.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Go ahead, Nix.
Um,
And Shmashamawu, whatever his name is from the other team, gets on my darn nerves.
yeah, let's just call him Smusher. Schmushner.
Shmashamayu, I need you to sit
I have
down.
to say, total aside, folks, but I know that some of you are into this. Let's just take a moment for
Take a moment.
the NBA playoffs. I'm just gonna go for it here.
Do it.
I love college basketball so much because they're actually still playing the game and you can see the coaching come out and you can see how these guys, boys, I call them, how they just grow and evolve over time from when they started on these teams and where they are by the time they have to leave and the passion that they have and the respect they have for their coaches and it seems less whiny, it seems less entitled, I guess
Oh my
is
goodness. I'm so glad
and
you said that.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
look, you play professional sport. There is some entitlement. Look, you got there,
Sure.
right? You got there. Can we just be better examples to the people who are watching you play? Like, what is with this violence? Like, since when? Since when is that like trying to get away with just hurting other people? And do I sound old and a woman? Like, I don't really know. But I'm telling you guys, I have grown. I went from the hospital to a basketball game, essentially. That is what I did with my life. I have been breathing basketball my entire life. I have watched it all. This is something to me. The elbows in the face and trying to get away with it makes me really sad actually. I'm not even angry about it.
Oh, yeah.
But I do so the Celtics aren't playing or the Warriors obviously. I have really good friends in my life who love the Knicks and that is why I'm cheering for the Knicks. And I also love the fact of like their dynasty and they haven't won in so
Mm-hmm.
long. I love that story. But I have to say a lot of people here on the East Coast where I am living, they don't love the Knicks. The same people who hate the Yankees also hate the Knicks. So it's a very interesting mix of reviews of these games. And I'm loving it. And I'm loving it. So, and you know what though? We can bring this back around.
Oh,
The
yeah.
excite, yeah, right? Like,
Yes.
go
Because
for
you're
it.
sitting here
Go.
saying, I don't like the elbows in the face. Right. And I'm saying, it's not that I like the elbows in the face, but I'm saying, I feel like you got to be able to learn to tolerate the elbows in the face because that's the name of the game now.
Sure,
And
sure.
the reason I'm calling him Smeshumahu, I refuse to say his name. I refuse to learn his name. Why? Because he gets on my nerves. If you're going to be a whiny baby, I would rather you elbow someone in the face and take it like a man and elbow back than be a whiny little baby on the floor in the NBA. Let's get some cojones, people. It's the NBA. You got to
Right.
stop being a whiny baby. That's why I don't like old LeBron James. And I'm glad you are listening to this. Listen, all you LeBron James fans can say, ew, I don't like that. This goes back to what we're talking about because we are also going to be talking about your non-negotiables and and your tolerance level. We're going to be getting into that
Yeah.
because like Meredith was saying, just because something is uncomfortable, it doesn't mean that it has to be a non-negotiable. Maybe you got to move through it. And that is honestly, Meredith is saying, I don't like that. I'm like, I'd rather that than a whiny baby on the floor. And Meredith and I can
Oh,
say that. And we could be like, yeah. And guess what? I think certain people on the team suck. And you should be able to listen to this and go, okay, I love them. Shut your
yeah.
mouth. But okay, let's listen. Let's keep on
Right.
listening.
Right. I mean, number
Right.
one could be my favorite player, Shmashamahu. you know?
Shma who?
I'm
Yeah.
like, he's not. He's
No.
not.
Thank
I
God.
look, we could continue to talk about this, but we will get back to our scheduled program.
I love watching Bronson. I love watching these guys on the Knicks that I'm like, I didn't know I liked them so much. It's because my husband and my son love them so much. And I'm like, yeah, but this is what I'm talking about, tolerance and working through something and saying, I was thinking a lot about one of the episodes that we had, and this ties in, people, and talking about tolerance. And we have got to learn how to navigate through something we don't like. We don't necessarily have to shut something off or shut someone off because we don't know how to navigate through it. Right? And I do think that's important because we're talking about resilience.
Yes.
Right? When you get pushback,
yes.
things are hard.
Yes.
You build resilience, and you also build, like Meredith says, confidence, especially with children. And for example, some of the things I say on here, people are like, I can't believe she said that. Oh my gosh, she likes Southern cooking and only listens to Southern people cook and people of ethnic backgrounds. She doesn't listen to she doesn't take recipes from Northern people or the French, I will add. And so anyway, I had
just keep like, checking people off of our listeners. Now the French aren't going to listen, the Northerners think that you totally,
Oh, yeah. And I was like, we were in Hilton Head this week and we were like, okay, let's go to this French. And I've been told, they're like, Gwendolyn, listen, just because British can't cook, you got to listen to the French because they're known for their cooking. I'm like, prove it to me. So you know what I did? I went to a French bakery. I got desserts. I didn't like a single one. Let me tell you something. I'm willing to test it out. But that's the thing. I had a friend come to me and she goes, Gwendolyn, I listened to your podcast. She's from New York. And she goes, and I was like, oh, I can't believe she's saying she doesn't like recipes from up north. She doesn't take recipes from people from up north. I'm going to show her. I'm going to give her my best recipe. She goes, Gwendolyn, and all the ones I flipped through were Southern ones. I said, and case in point, listen, I went to this French bakery and I was like, nope, I'm out. I'm out with certain things. If you add sage, rosemary, you mention any of those herbs in your cooking, fennel, caraway seeds, I'm out. I was like, okay, I'm going to try looking at this Northern book on Thanksgiving. And it was all like fresh herbs in the I'm like, nah, out. I was like, I'm not doing it. If you try to bake a cookie, that's a cookie. Like, I don't trust you anymore. My trust in you has left. Oh, we're going to make Biscoff cookies. There's already Biscoff cookies. What are you doing? I have zero trust in you now. I'm saying all of this for a reason. I'm saying all of this for a reason.
What is it? What
Tolerance,
is it, Gwendolyn? Bring it home.
Bring it home. Tolerance is important. You don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. But that doesn't mean that you can't listen. It doesn't mean that you're like, it's a non-negotiable for me to talk with people who have different opinions. Maybe you should learn to move through it. Maybe, as Meredith says in her Meryl Streep voice, it's a growing edge.
Yes, I do say that. And I love that. I love that. It is
yes,
a growing
ma'am.
edge.
It is a growing edge.
So when you're talking about this, Gwendolyn, what is standing out, I'm reminded of what I do tell clients quite often, and myself. Keep moving in the direction of growth, of being uncomfortable, of taking the risk, because that's how you grow in confidence. That is how you get to know what you're truly made of. Resilience, some people call that. So if we're avoiding something altogether, how do we expect to grow? You will have anxiety because, again, we're human. We are supposed to have anxiety. We are supposed to have fears. We are supposed to feel uncomfortable. These are all things in our bodies and how we're made that we are supposed to feel. What we have done is take that as permission to now just stop there.
Yeah.
Well, listen, folks, you are who you are. Like you said, we are not experts on your lives, but we can also say this is how the society looks at anxiety because we hear it all the time. That gives me too much anxiety. I can't do it. Well, you can. Anxiety is not the reason to not do something. It's
Mm.
supposed to be there. Remind yourself of that. Of course, I'm going to feel this way. But Meredith, I have never done that before and it really scares me. Okay.
Yeah.
Just say that. Just own it. It will be uncomfortable. Give yourself opportunity. When you say pregame, I also look at it like this. If I know I'm going into a new situation, I'm already feeling anxious. I'm just very feeling like unstable, in my body, and I know that when I do get to the other side, I will appreciate it. I have to make the decision that it's going to be worth it for me to get to the other side, even though I don't know what that feeling is like. So I have to pregame, right? I have to talk to myself and basically convince myself in whatever way that I can that that will be the outcome, because I can't feel it yet. I haven't done it. Am I making any sense? I feel like I'm not. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just the day that I'm having, but there's no way. This might be a silly reminder. I feel like I say it all the time. There is no way to know how something is going to feel unless you go through it and get to the next step. I
Yeah.
why do we think that we're going to know how we feel about something before we experience it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even if you experience something that I don't, Gwendolyn, I still don't really know how I'm going to feel about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but how many times do we have this conversation with people and our clients of like, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to feel this way, or I don't really. Um,
Yeah.
let's talk about that, right? So,
Yeah.
is a non-negotiable protecting your well-being, or is it protecting you from discomfort and fear?
Mm-hmm.
Again, you may not know until you start moving through it. So,
Yeah.
this goes into the next thing that we have mentioned is like, what is my body trying to tell me? Because we're talking
Mm-hmm.
a lot about the feelings, right? What have you noticed about this, Gwendolyn, since we started talking about it with
Oh,
non-negotiables?
let me tell you, I was actually talking to someone the other day and I was talking about how I felt very Meredith-like. I was like, we hold memories in our bodies. And I felt really cool and popular saying it. And but and they were like, what do you mean by that? I'm like, what do I mean? Listen, when I've gotten a ticket before. I have gotten pulled over, gotten a ticket. When I pass a cop now, my butt puckers and I slam on the brakes. Like, we'll tap on the brakes. My brain does not tell my body to do that. That's my body responding. Pucker, brake, done. That every single time. It's the same thing. Your body holds memories. Your body feels these things that maybe even you forget about.
Mm-hmm.
And when Meredith is talking about this, at first, when I first met not met Meredith, I met her a long time ago. But when Meredith first started talking to me about this, I was like, I mean, I guess, I don't know. And I really questioned it because I don't really pay attention to my body.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. And then I went to the dentist and they were like, you need a night guard. I was like, I don't grind at night. They're like, you do. I'm like, I don't. And then I realized I didn't. I did it during the day. And I bite my cheeks during the day, or you'll see me go when I'm thinking. And I
Mm-hmm.
do it all the time. And I've realized I do it when I'm anxious about something, or I think about something I don't like, or I'm trying to figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, dang it, Meredith. And your body holds things. It made me so mad because I was like, I get it now. I'm mad only because I didn't get it before. But now she's like, where do you feel that in your body? I was like, I don't feel it anywhere on my body.
Mm.
Guys, you have to pay attention. It is huge. And then passing cops. And I'm like, my brain didn't tell my body to do that. I puckered and
Mm-hmm.
broke. I broke,
Mm-hmm.
break. I
Mm-hmm.
puckered and I break. No, I puckered and I break. I puckered and I pucker and I break. Goodness gracious, Gwendolyn, let's get it out. But And you guys might go, Gwendolyn, I'm the same way. Yeah, your body remembers the time you got in trouble.
Oh,
It, it sure does.
it sure does. And I'm going to tell you something right now. So I'm going to tell you the ages that typically come up in therapy: 6, 8, 12, and 14. These are the ages. And
It's
it goes like
fascinating.
this. It goes like this. Have a couple sitting there on the couch and they're arguing, or one is trying to explain the self, like, this is what my experience is. And I'll say, how old do you feel right now? And almost immediately it's like 8, 12. Like, they're like, that's weird. I was like, it's not. It's not weird. I hear it all the time. Why does that come up? Because it's in our bodies when we feel, when we got in trouble for something, we got reprimanded for something, we had an experience where we learned that something is not right, right? We learned that that's not the way that we need to do it. We're supposed to learn that as kids, as teenagers. We are supposed to, but there's so much shame embedded in getting in trouble. So what we're doing is we're holding on to the shame of that memory and not to what that memory is actually teaching us.
Yeah.
So this is why we don't pay attention to our bodies. We can understand that. Who wants to feel like they're living in shame all the time?
Yeah.
That's not what this is. This is not what this is, but we look at it again as something that's bad. Let's not look at it as something that's bad. Just let's look at it as information. Like, just like, yeah, of course I feel like 8 years old. I had a teacher who just did not understand me, and I was never doing anything right. That would not be in my home, and I'm experiencing that at school, right? I'm in school a lot. We're in school a lot. You hear stories about this. I mean, you've experienced some of this, Gwendolyn, right? Like, people have a big impact. Teachers have a huge impact on your development. It's a really big deal to make the right decision of where your kids are going to school and how they're getting educated. It's huge. I'm not going to get into that. We've done so many soapboxes already today, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
but it does. But this is why we're going to continue to. Don't worry, guys. This is not our last one. This goes with your values and priorities, right? How we choose to educate our children. It goes with our non-negotiables, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because we try to protect the innocent. We try to protect innocence from developing that shame or developing these moments that will stay in their bodies for the rest of their lives. Now, listen, I'm being dramatic. This is why we have therapy, okay? This is why we are around healing people. This is why we choose our religions. This is why we choose groups of people that we trust, because you don't have to really live this way for the rest of your life. And this is why we do this, right? When you learn that people can be safe or situations can be safe, this is typically when you start to grow in your non-negotiables.
That's beautiful. Love it. I love that.
Yeah.
I don't even mean to cut you off, but I felt that. Yeah. I think that has a lot to do with building healthy non-negotiables, right?
Yeah.
In that safety and not in that fear.
So that goes with like the next thing of a non-negotiable protects our peace, right? It protects your peace. How many times do people like, I just want silence, right? Like, I just want peace. I just don't want to have to worry anymore. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that thing anymore. You know, it's the question of, what is it? We talked about this in the last one. What is it that I'm dreading? Why is my stomach sick all the time when I do this thing? Let's investigate that and ask, what information have I gathered every time that I have experienced this feeling? have I gotten the receipts, as they say, right? As to why I cannot trust this situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have. Am I interpreting this in a way that I'm trying to keep moving through it because I want it to not be that?
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes we have to just take what is right in front of us. And every time I feel this way in my gut, I go to this situation and I still feel the same way. I have tried X, Y, and Z. I have tried to look at it from every angle that I can, and still I'm
Mm.
coming up with this. All right. I'm going to safely say here that that is when you establish a non-negotiable. You've done it. You've done the work. You've looked at it from all angles. You've exhausted yourself. You are clearly now exhausted. And what would make you at peace? Maybe not in the beginning because it's hard to cut things off. It's hard to say no. We have also
Mm-hmm.
podcasts on that, folks, if you're just joining us.
Yeah.
um, but it's also so much freedom. And that's what we're about.
Oh.
Freedom. We just
Yeah,
look.
that's exactly it. Meredith, that you're saying non-negotiables are serving us. They're not limiting us. Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Say it again.
I'm going to say it again. And I'm going to try to say it in the Meredith voice. Ready? Non-negotiables are serving us, not limiting us. Yeah.
Wow. We've had some bangers today.
I mean, bangers. But what you're saying to me when I'm hearing you talk about this, I know I've made non-negotiables out of my stubbornness. I know I have. I have, and I still have some. All right, quick pause before we keep going. If you're enjoying this conversation, we want to ask you for a small favor. Go ahead and follow the podcast and leave us a review. Those reviews actually tell us that these conversations are reaching and helping people. And that matters to us because doing this takes time out of our day, our week, and sometimes it takes our sanity. So if something you've heard here has helped you think differently, have a better conversation, or even just feel a little less crazy in your life, take 10 seconds and leave us a review. It helps the show grow and lets us know that it's worth continuing. Plus, Meredith says leaving a review is a healthy relational behavior, and I'm pretty sure therapists know things. And honestly, it's a nice way to say keep going without having to send us baked goods, although we accept those too. All right, now back to the conversation before we get off track, which is completely typical of us. Yeah.
So, going into the next thing, Wendelin, makes me think about what you said last week is how am I contributing to my own chaos here? Because the whole reason for non-negotiables, right, is we're trying to create more peace. We're trying to create more security in who we are, right, in our voices. And like your voice matters so much. How many times have I heard in the past week, I just wanted to be heard. I just wanted to be heard. What we're talking about is a way to be heard, even if someone doesn't like it.
Yeah.
It's also a way that you find your people. Right? So how do I contribute to my own chaos, right? Of what I invite and what I don't invite. So is it self-inflicted in how we use non-negotiables, maybe in an unhealthy way? What do you think?
Yeah. You know, I've heard this a lot. And depending on your gifting, right? We do the motivational gifts. Go back and listen to that series if you haven't. We also did a podcast on values and priorities as we keep talking about this. Go listen to that one. I think about this in the gifting area. For instance, being the perceivers. You can take any gift and do this. So being the perceiver. How many times have I heard a perceiver go, I'm just done giving advice. No more. People don't listen to it. I'm just tired of it. I'm not getting invested. I'm not giving. It's a non-negotiable. I don't want to hear your problems. Don't tell me. I'm done. Right? Because they're tired of people not taking their advice. So I've heard that with the merciful. I'm done giving to people. I'm done giving my time. I'm done caring about people. So now I cut everyone off. It's a non-negotiable. No longer are you allowed in. My wall is up.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, what's your ownership in this? So the perceiver goes
Ooh.
and they say, I just give people what I think. I give them my opinion. I give them my advice, and they should take it. Well, if you truly see your gift as a gift to be given, then you need to ask yourself a question. When I give my gift to someone, number one, I need to ask, is this gift for my own satisfaction so I can feel great, right? I gave them really good advice and now they need to change. Or did I give it to them to use how they see fit where they are in their life, and what they do with it, they do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So what's my motivation of giving the gift, right? So if I give advice out of, okay, well, this is the advice and you should be taking this, then I'm going to walk away from it frustrated. I'm never giving advice again because they didn't take it and they didn't respond the way I wanted to. Or if I give it and say, hey, yeah, like maybe this is what I'm seeing and this is a perspective, and I just give this to you as a perspective and you do with it what you want. If we do that and they use it however they want, they can ignore it. They can use it. They can use it a little bit, but it's their gift. You gave it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the merciful, you gave them parts of yourself for healing. Whatever they do with it, you decided to do that. That was your choice. So now, however they respond, it can't be something where you feel offended by and therefore say, non-negotiable, not doing it anymore. Sometimes those non-negotiables come from it's self-inflicted. You're not giving your gift in the way that you should. And so now you take offense to it. And now you've cut off some people in your life, or everyone in your life, because you're not going to be hurt anymore. You're not going to be offended anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it is self-inflicted. What's your ownership in it? Is there ownership to be had? These are questions to ask within your non-negotiables.
When I'm listening to this, I also hear about like managing our expectations and how we expect others to respond to us. And we're managing our expectation or a non-negotiable around that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of what some of what I hear you saying is that, I have the giver. I've given them so much money. I've given so much time. I have bought these things from them. I've taken them here and I've taken them there and I pay for food, and it's never enough. It's never enough. Like they just keep coming back for more. And the time that I say no, then they're gone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a response. That is how people do it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say, well, I'm not giving anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. And if that's your gift, that's really going to be sad for you and for others.
Yeah.
You're going to steal your own joy. You're going to steal their joy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what you say is, I'm just going to give this much because I know people are who they are. And I don't really want anything in return. It does feel good for me to do it. Maybe I did it too much. And it's not just because of that person. It's because of the expectations I had for them to respond or react in a certain way.
Yeah.
That's what I hear you saying is like, sometimes the problem isn't the circumstance.
Yeah.
Right? We haven't taken ownership of our role.
Right.
In the circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
And we can turn that around, right, Gwendolyn? Because we have options. We have options. So,
yes.
This also comes back to, let's know these things about ourselves. Let's get to know our motivational gifts. Get to know your motivational gift. Why do we feel guilty for having non-negotiables? Let's go there. People will say, oh, they make me feel guilty about this. Okay, well, let's talk about what guilt is. It's for when you've done something wrong. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Mm-hmm. Period. Yes. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Have you done something wrong? Or have you just wronged the other person from their perspective?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do anything wrong, Meredith. Then why are you apologizing to me? This happens so often because guilt is conditioned and it's needed and it serves a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But the way someone responds to your non negotiable
Mm-hmm.
is not how you choose your non negotiable. If you feel guilt from a non negotiable, that's not how you stick with it. That's not how you choose if you're going to use it or not,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you feel like you're being selfish from a non negotiable, that's also a human feeling. Just check in with that. How do I know if I'm being selfish with it? Well, how does it truly affect the people around you? If I say that every day from 3 to 4, I'm taking a break from life. Grab my tea, go in my room, silence. My children are old enough. People don't need me. You can like really you for 1 hour a day. You don't really need me, unless you're we know the reasons. And I'm doing that for my well-being, to have peace, to make sure that I can show up and be the best person for my family, my friends, my job, fill in the blank. I am being selfish. I'm not being selfish in the way that people see it. A lot of times people see selfishness as a negative thing. Well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because people misuse it. But selfish is a spectrum. Yeah, I'm going to be selfish every day from 3 to 4. You're right. I am. That's a non negotiable for me. I
Mm-hmm.
need my recharge time to be the best person that I can be for my family.
Yeah.
Why do we give children naps? Why do we make them take time? They
Mm-hmm.
have to for their development, right? But why don't we give ourselves a ritual every day to stop the train a going?
Yeah.
So if someone says to you, well, that's really selfish of you to do that every day. Yes, it is, but not in the way that you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why I do it. My well being, peace. I just feel much better about myself. And you know what it's done? Is it's given people around me also permission to take care of themselves and do what they need to do within that time.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Meredith, I feel guilty for asking for help. Talk about that one, Gwendolyn.
Oh.
Like, I'm never asking for help again. That becomes a non negotiable for many people. If you are one of those people who say, I'm never asking for help, I don't ask for help, I just rather do it myself.
Mm.
Can we look at that for a moment, people? Who are you asking for help?
Yeah.
Where are you going? Are you going to an empty well and the full well is right next to it? And every
Yeah.
time you go to that well and you bring up that bucket and it's just nothing inside of it. But that well right next to you, right there, has the best water in the world.
Yeah.
And it continues to fill on its own. Natural
Yeah.
spring, do the whole thing, right? Yet we go to the empty well to serve a different purpose. We want we want to feel special. We want that person to approve of us. We want X, Y, and Z, right? And we think that continuing to go there, one of these times it'll be full. One of these times they'll say yes. One of these times they'll pull through. So why can't a non negotiable with this situation be, I just can't go to that well. I can't go to that person or that group to ask for this kind of help.
Mm-hmm.
But I can go over here and ask for that.
Yeah.
If you really desire to connect with a person based on what you need, because that's serving a purpose for you, chances are, you know, you're going to end up 50-50, maybe less, in getting that fulfilled. So sometimes our non negotiables come from that. Like you said, what can I get from somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
If you are establishing those rules or expectations for yourself based on how somebody else receives you,
Yeah.
now you're in trouble.
Yeah. Absolutely. And maybe you're on the other end of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe, and this is where ownership takes place as well. Maybe you've been asking for too much help and not having the confidence that you need to do things on your own. right? So you get angry that nobody is willing to help you anymore because you have sucked all the wells dry,
Mm-hmm.
looking at yourself going, okay,
Yeah, good point. Mm-hmm.
where's the ownership in this?
Mm-hmm.
Ownership is huge when it comes to understanding where are my non-negotiables.
Yeah, it's a
And
great way to look at that.
what you're saying about guilt too, we deal with this all the time, don't we, Meredith, in
Mm-hmm.
sessions where people feel
Mm-hmm.
so guilty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of it comes from them now establishing boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
and people had full access to them and they no longer
Mm-hmm.
have that full
Mm.
access. Yeah. And because what do we say, Meredith? We teach people how to treat us from the moment we say hello.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've taught people to have full access to us. And now we're limiting that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? It can be, I'm going to have boundaries now. And it doesn't have to be a non-negotiable. I'm just not helping anyone anymore. It can be, they don't have as much access to me. And you probably will feel guilty about that because there's also ownership in that. I've allowed them to have access to me all of this time.
Mm-hmm.
There is
Yeah.
ownership in that.
And adding to that, Gwendolyn, I like this reminder. We can still have compassion
Mm-hmm.
for the person that we feel that we're leaving behind, right? Or that we are
Mm-hmm.
cutting ourselves off. We can still have compassion. They still have this experience with having access to us. And yes, we did that. And maybe they did take advantage of it and they could have stopped themselves too. Okay, could have, could have, could have. It didn't happen. This is the situation. Let's just still have compassion for them
Yeah.
because they're having their own experience too. I don't have to say, like, oh, I feel so bad and I'm so sorry. And like, no, because it can get us back in that loop. That's not what I'm
Yeah.
saying. What I'm saying is we don't have to be angry and spiteful and nasty.
Yeah.
They have a right to feel the way that they do based on what you have taken from them.
Oh. Mm. Yes.
They
Yeah,
do.
they do.
You don't have to join with them in that. You don't have to like it. You do not
Mm-mm.
actually. Can we just practice this? Allow that person to sit in it and to be how they want to be with it. And if that anger is coming at you, just okay. And now we're done. You have
Yeah.
options. You have options to engage. You have options to try to make them feel better. You have options to leave. You have options to feel compassion and say, I really didn't want this to be our last time that we did this. I just didn't want to do it as often. And you just let me know. I'm here. I'm willing to do this once a month. You know, I would love to have lunch with you when it's a good time, right?
Yeah.
I would love to come back on this committee maybe in a year. Just in it's fine. You can check in with me, but just not until 1 year.
Yeah.
Right? Like because someone has had access to us and we have made it easy at times, but also we're useful, we do love to
Mm-hmm.
give. A human being, a good human being lives in community, right? And our community doesn't have to be huge. I'm not saying being an extrovert. What I'm saying is a family is community, right? So how much we give and the energy that we preserve or reserve for the people who are the most important to us, we have to reevaluate that sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
that does need to be on everyone's list right now. Listen to me. With your values and priorities comes the level of energy you are willing to give to those pieces of your life that are most important.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So when you're thinking about this and you're listening to us and you're like, oh, I've got to reevaluate my non-negotiables, or this is definitely one, or this is definitely one, or if one of them is not how you're using your physical energy, emotional energy, and or mental energy, this is a great lens for y'all. Look at that. Where is my energy going?
Yeah.
Why am I getting so upset at another person when this is how I've been acting towards them? Like what?
Yeah.
Then that's even more energy. It doesn't make sense to us, right? We're just in that. Maybe that's because we're
No.
the perceivers. Sometimes the non-negotiables that you have, something gets in the way. and you have no control over it, or maybe you feel like you had little control over it, right? And
Mm.
we feel really proud about our non-negotiables when we have established them. And when they're challenged, or when we're misunderstood because of them, or we're in a situation where we can't like follow through on what they are, those are all very uncomfortable situations,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was just thinking, within that can also be its own non-negotiable of how we react and respond to that situation, right? To
Mm.
being misunderstood. I have got to now, within my non-negotiable, I have to look at my options, and I refuse to be angry at something I cannot control.
Yeah.
Because we can have those non-negotiables for ourselves. They're not always just for relationships. By the way, I'm not willing to be angry about something that I can't control. That's me. I have worked hard at that, or whatever your personal relationship is with anger. I choose to go right to the feeling instead of the anger, because I know, there's something else underneath. I've learned that. I've worked on that, tried it, done it. It's worked well for me. Right? So non-negotiables are not always just for relationships with other people. They're also a relationship with self. So
Yeah.
also remember that too.
Well, we've had a lot to say about non-negotiables, and maybe a different way to look at it. Maybe seeing, okay, do I have to take some ownership in some of these things?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Or like,
do I need to pivot?
Yeah. What's the history of this one?
What's the history? What am I holding? Let me listen to my body,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
What is my body saying? Is this going against my values, or am I just uncomfortable? And discomfort isn't a bad thing. It can challenge us and and make us more resilient. Those things are important.
Yeah.
How's my tolerance? Like, what is that like? Is this something that I need to work on? Does someone now have less value because they don't agree with what I agree with?
Yeah.
Have my non-negotiables just been protecting me in a way of just not being uncomfortable or having to see someone else's perspective? Or is it serving me in a way that creates growth? Is it protecting me in a way that is important? What's going on here? Look at these things. Take time to maybe write some of these things down. Like me, not realizing that I was holding things in my body and that my body does respond to things. Yeah. Me thinking Meredith was loca. And I was like, I don't do anything like that. And then me going, never mind, I'm wrong. So as I usually am in things like this. But
No.
guys, take advantage of hearing what Meredith is saying, what I'm saying about non-negotiables. Ownership is huge. Is this self-inflicted? Am I supposed to walk through something instead of avoiding it? Is it just avoidance? So I think these are lots of good things to look at this week. And I'm interested to hear about what a good 1% is, Meredith.
Before I do the 1%, remember that awareness comes before change.
Yeah.
Awareness comes before growth. Awareness comes before transformation. The 1% that I will challenge you with this week and encourage you to do is to start writing that list of what in this present time, and I mean writing, yes, pen and paper. I know we use our phones but it's really something different to take your pen and a piece of paper or a pencil and look, we all have our favorite pens, we all have the things that we need. Sit and take a moment in that ritual time that you are all going to start creating for yourselves, BTW, and take that utensil, take that piece of paper or Post-its, that's what works for me, and let's start writing them down. And that does not mean they're set in stone. You realize that with paper, you can rip it up, you can get rid of you can just continue to use them and refine it. We're in the refiner's fire here, folks, for ourselves. This is what we're doing.
Thanks for joining us on Simply 1%, where we truly believe that small shifts over time create big change. If today's episode resonated with you, we'd love for you to follow or subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might need it. Your support helps us keep the conversation going. Make sure you connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next time, have a great week.